Connection begins with vulnerability. It's one of the most misunderstood truths of human experience, yet it is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, every powerful transformation, and every true act of love. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the raw courage to stand emotionally naked before another person without the armor of pride or fear. Most people move through life hiding behind masks, showing only the parts of themselves they believe will be accepted, loved, or admired. They speak half truths, offer half smiles, and live half lives. But the moment a person allows themselves to be seen not just their light, but their shadow, their fears, their insecurities, that's when something real begins to happen. That's when energy starts to move, when walls collapse, and when two souls finally meet beyond the surface. When you open yourself up in such a way, you invite trust to enter. Trust doesn't come from perfection, it comes from honesty. You don't build connection by pretending to have it all together. You build it by saying, "This is me imperfect, uncertain, but real." That level of openness disarms people. It breaks through resistance. It allows the other person to exhale, to relax, to drop their own mask, because suddenly they know they are safe to be human too. In a world where everyone is trying to prove themselves, being genuine becomes magnetic. People are drawn not to the ones who seem untouchable, but to the ones who have the courage to say, "I've been there too." Vulnerability also carries a frequency, a vibration that reaches beyond words. It's something you feel. You can sense it in a conversation, in the tone of voice, in the softness of the eyes, in the pauses between sentences. It's the unspoken energy that says, "I am not here to judge you, I am here to understand you." That kind of presence creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is what allows intimacy to flourish. Without it, even the deepest love will eventually suffocate under layers of fear and self-protection. When you are vulnerable, you stop performing and start experiencing. You stop analyzing and start feeling. You allow the natural flow of emotion, and that flow is where connection lives. The irony is that people fear vulnerability because they associate it with loss of control, loss of dignity, loss of power. But in truth, vulnerability is power. It's the source of authenticity, the birthplace of creativity, and the gateway to transformation. Every great leader, artist, or thinker has known this. They understood that the only way to touch another person's soul is to speak from your own. You can't inspire from behind a wall. You can't heal while hiding. You have to be willing to step into the open space where your truth meets the world's reflection. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also liberating. Once you've stood in that space long enough, fear loses its grip, and you discover that no rejection can truly hurt you when you are aligned with your inner truth. To connect deeply, you must first connect inwardly. Vulnerability is not just something you offer to others. It's something you offer to yourself. It's looking in the mirror and accepting every part of your being without judgment. It's acknowledging your wounds, your desires, your mistakes, and your dreams, and saying, "I love you anyway." That kind of self-honesty becomes the foundation for all external connection. When you can face your own darkness, someone else's no longer scares you. When you can hold your own pain with compassion, you can hold theirs too. It creates an energetic balance, an emotional maturity that makes every interaction richer and more meaningful. When two people meet in vulnerability, something sacred happens. The masks fall away, ego fades. What remains is pure presence, one soul recognizing another. It's not about words or appearances, it's about resonance. You begin to feel seen, understood, valued for who you truly are rather than for what you can offer or achieve. And that feeling of being seen and accepted at the deepest level is what every human being longs for. It's the essence of love, the key to healing, and the soil in which true intimacy grows. Vulnerability doesn't promise that you won't be hurt, but it ensures that when you love authentically, and when you connect, it changes you forever. Energy exchange shapes destiny. Every human interaction, every touch, every thought shared between two people carries an invisible current of energy that moves between them. You may not see it, but you can always feel it. It's the sensation in the air when you walk into a room filled with laughter or tension. It's the quiet comfort that settles in when you're near someone who radiates peace. It's the heaviness that clings when you've spent time with someone who is angry or bitter. Everything is energy, and every exchange, no matter how small, contributes to the direction your life begins to flow. When you understand that energy is real, that it has weight and consequence, you start to realize that your destiny isn't shaped only by what you do, but by what you allow into your energetic space. People often underestimate the power of emotional vibration. When you interact with someone, your energy fields intertwine. You absorb pieces of each other's emotional frequency. That's why spending time with someone joyful can lift your mood even without a word spoken, and why being around negativity can drain you even if nothing bad happens. It's not imagination, it's resonance. Two frequencies meeting either harmonize or clash, and the quality of that exchange determines whether your spirit expands or contracts. Over time, these countless exchanges form an energetic blueprint that influences the direction of your thoughts, actions, and ultimately, your reality. If you are constantly surrounded by chaos, your energy begins to adapt to survive it. If you're surrounded by peace and purpose, you begin to rise to meet it. Energy exchange doesn't just happen externally, it's also an inner process. Every thought you think is an emission of energy. Every emotion sends out a frequency that draws similar frequencies back to you. When you dwell on guilt, resentment, or fear, you create a magnetic pull for experiences that reinforce those emotions. The universe responds not to your words, but to your vibration. You can say you want success or love, but if your energy is rooted in doubt or unworthiness, you'll keep attracting situations that mirror that belief. Shifting your destiny means shifting your energy, and shifting your energy begins with awareness. You must learn to feel what you are emitting, to notice how your inner state changes in the presence of certain people, environments, or even thoughts. The moment you become conscious of your energetic flow, you regain power over your life. Every close connection you form is also an exchange of energy on a deeper level. It's not just about emotions, it's about spiritual chemistry. When you share moments of intimacy, whether emotional, physical, or intellectual, you're not only connecting through words or actions, but through frequencies that intertwine. That's why certain connections feel life-changing. They awaken dormant parts of you. Some people come into your life to amplify your light, while others arrive to mirror your wounds. Both are teachers in their own way, both necessary for your evolution. The key is to recognize which energies nourish you and which drain you, and to have the courage to release what pulls you down. Because every time you hold onto an energy that doesn't align with your growth, you anchor yourself to a version of your life that no longer serves your higher path. When you start becoming aware of these exchanges, you begin to take responsibility for the energy you bring into every space. You start to realize that your presence alone can change the temperature of a room. Your calm can quiet chaos. Your kindness can soften anger. Your confidence can inspire others to stand taller. You stop seeing yourself as a passive participant in life and begin to understand yourself as a transmitter of energy, someone capable of influencing the vibration of the world around you. And as you elevate your frequency, your outer world adjusts to match it. New opportunities arise, different people cross your path, synchronicities begin to unfold. Destiny starts to feel less like something that happens to you and more like something you are co-creating with every energetic choice you make. It's not about avoiding low vibrations entirely. Life will always contain both light and shadow, but about maintaining mastery over your own. When you learn to protect your energy, to recharge it, to align it with your intentions, you move through the world with quiet power. You no longer chase outcomes or people. Instead, your energy becomes the magnet that draws what belongs to you. The more conscious you become of what you emit and absorb, the clearer your path becomes. You start to sense when something resonates with your higher self and when it doesn't. You begin to navigate not with fear, but with intuition. And that's when destiny starts to unfold in its truest form, not as a random sequence of events, but as a reflection of your energetic state and the love, presence, and intention you bring into every exchange. Overcoming shame and negativity is one of the greatest acts of liberation a human being can ever experience. Shame is heavy, invisible, and deeply rooted in the subconscious mind. It is the silent voice that whispers you are not enough, the hidden emotion that makes you shrink instead of stand tall, and the quiet barrier that keeps you from fully experiencing love, joy, and purpose. It begins early, shaped by judgment, rejection, or the fear of not belonging. Over time, it becomes part of your identity, influencing the way you see yourself and the way you interact with others. Shame teaches people to hide, to silence their truth, and to live smaller than their potential allows. But the truth is, you can never be free until you face that feeling head on and allow it to dissolve in the light of awareness. Negativity is born from the same soil. It's the emotional residue that builds up from disappointment, fear, and self-doubt. When left unchecked, it becomes a lens through which everything is filtered. You stop seeing possibilities and start seeing problems. You stop believing in progress and start expecting failure. This state of energy becomes self-sustaining because your thoughts feed your emotions and your emotions feed your reality. The longer you dwell in negative frequencies, the heavier life begins to feel. But within that heaviness is also the seed of transformation. Every emotion, no matter how dark, carries information about where healing is needed. When you stop running from your negative feelings and start listening to them, you discover that they are not enemies, they are messengers. They point to the parts of yourself that still crave acceptance, love, and forgiveness. The process of overcoming shame and negativity begins with self-awareness. You must first see what you have been avoiding. Most people leave unaware of how much emotional baggage they carry. They suppress feelings with distractions, addictions, or constant activity. But the moment you slow down and look inward, the truth surfaces. You begin to recognize the patterns, the way certain words trigger pain, the way certain memories still have power over you, the way you unconsciously sabotage your happiness. Awareness is not comfortable at first, but it's the only doorway to freedom. What you suppress controls you. What you confront loses its hold. The act of naming your pain takes away half its power, because it's no longer hiding in the dark corners of your mind. Forgiveness is the next stage. You cannot heal while holding onto resentment, whether it's toward others or yourself. Many people carry shame that was never truly theirs. They were made to feel small by people who were hurting themselves. They internalized blame for things that were beyond their control. Forgiving doesn't mean approving of what happened. It means reclaiming your energy from it. It means saying, I will no longer let this define me. Forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a gradual process of release. Each time you let go of a grudge, you lighten your energetic load. Each time you extend compassion to yourself, you rebuild your sense of worth. You start to understand that every mistake, every failure, and every wound was part of your evolution, not proof of your inadequacy, but evidence of your growth. To truly overcome negativity, you must learn to rewire your emotional responses. The mind loves repetition. It becomes addicted to familiar feelings, even painful ones. That's why some people unconsciously recreate the same toxic situations. They are energetically aligned with the vibration of pain. Breaking that cycle requires conscious effort. It means feeding your mind new thoughts, exposing yourself to uplifting environments, and practicing gratitude even when it feels unnatural. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. It interrupts the flow of negativity and opens a new energetic pathway for joy and abundance to enter. When you focus consistently on what feels good, your vibration rises and the old patterns begin to fade. Self-acceptance is the ultimate antidote to shame. It's the act of embracing yourself completely, not just the parts you're proud of, but also the ones you've tried to hide. It's saying, I am whole as I am. When you reach that level of acceptance, negativity can no longer take root because it thrives only in the absence of love. Every time you choose to see beauty in your imperfection, you transform the energy of shame into self-respect. Every time you respond to your inner critic with kindness instead of judgment, you shift the vibration of your entire being. That shift doesn't just heal you, it changes the way the world responds to you. People begin to sense your peace, your confidence, your light. You stop attracting situations that mirror your wounds and start attracting experiences that reflect your healing. The energy you once used to hide becomes the energy that helps you grow, and the emotions that once held you back become the very forces that set you free. The power of presence is one of the most transformative forces in existence, yet it is the one most people overlook. In a world filled with noise, distraction, and constant movement, being fully present has become a rare art. Presence is not about simply being in a room or near someone. It is about being completely there, with your mind, your energy, your awareness, and your heart aligned in the same moment. It's the deep stillness that allows you to listen beyond words, to see beyond appearances, and to feel beyond the surface. When you are truly present, time slows down, noise fades away, and everything that matters becomes vividly clear. You stop reacting to life and start experiencing it. You stop chasing moments and begin to inhabit them. That state of complete awareness is where true connection, understanding, and healing begin. Presence has an energy of its own. It's powerful, magnetic, and grounding. When someone is fully present with you, you can feel it instantly. Their energy doesn't rush, it settles. Their eyes don't wander, they focus. Their words carry weight because they come from a place of calm intention rather than scattered thought. In their presence, you feel seen, heard, and valued not because they're saying anything extraordinary, but because they're giving you something rare, undivided attention. That level of awareness communicates love more deeply than words ever could. It says, you matter enough for me to be nowhere else but here with you. In that moment, walls fall, defenses soften, and something sacred happens, the kind of connection that no amount of effort can force, only presence can create. The mind, however, resists presence. It wants to live in two places that do not exist, the past and the future. The past is filled with regret, guilt, and memories that shape your fears. The future is filled with worry, expectation, and uncertainty. Together, they pull you away from the only place where your power truly resides, the present moment. Every thought that drags you backward or pushes you forward takes energy away from what's in front of you. When you learn to quiet the mind, even for a few moments, you begin to realize that presence is not something to be achieved. It's something to be remembered. It's your natural state before noise, fear, and conditioning took over. The more you return to it, the more grounded and clear you become. Presence also plays a vital role in emotional connection. You cannot truly feel another person if you are lost in your own mental noise. You cannot sense their energy if you are distracted by your own stories. Being present allows you to attune to another person's vibration, to notice the pauses in their voice, the subtle shifts in their expression, the emotion behind their words. It's a form of silent communication that deepens trust and empathy. People are not seeking perfect words or flawless behavior, they are seeking presence. They want to feel that they matter enough for you to give them your full awareness. In relationships, presence is love in its purest form because it asks for nothing and offers everything. It's not about fixing or changing, it's about being there completely. Learning to be present requires practice because the mind will constantly try to pull you away. It takes discipline to slow down, breathe, and anchor yourself in the now. Simple acts like feeling your breath, noticing your surroundings, or listening deeply without preparing your response begin to retrain your focus. Over time, this awareness spreads into every part of your life. You begin to eat with attention, walk with awareness, and speak with intention. The quality of your experience changes, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because your perception sharpens. You start to notice beauty where you once saw routine. You find meaning in small gestures, silence in chaos, and wisdom in stillness. Presence turns ordinary moments into sacred ones, because when you're fully there, even the simplest things carry a quiet sense of wonder. The power of presence also influences how energy flows through you. When you are scattered, your energy leaks in 1,000 directions, leaving you drained and unfocused. But when you gather your awareness into the present, your energy becomes concentrated, potent, and magnetic. You start to feel a quiet strength, a calm confidence that doesn't rely on control. You become more creative, more intuitive, more aligned. People around you sense it, they may not know why, but they feel drawn to your calm. Presence has that effect. It heals without effort and influences without force. It allows you to move through the world as a steady current rather than a restless wave. The more present you become, the less life feels like something to survive, and the more it feels like something to experience deeply. Transforming feelings into creation is one of the highest expressions of human potential. Every emotion carries energy, and that energy has the power to destroy or to build, depending on how it is used. Most people are taught to suppress their emotions, to hide their anger, to silence their sadness, to disguise their fear behind a smile. But emotions are not meant to be buried. They are meant to be understood, channeled, and transformed. When you learn to use your feelings as fuel instead of chains, you awaken an incredible creative force within you. The same energy that once caused pain becomes the power that drives your purpose. Every tear, every heartbreak, every frustration can become raw material for something extraordinary if you have the courage to feel it fully and then direct it toward creation. Feelings are not random, they are the language of your inner self. Each emotion is a messenger that reveals something about your alignment with truth. Joy tells you that you are in harmony with your purpose. Fear tells you that you are stepping beyond your comfort zone. Anger signals that a boundary has been crossed or that something within you demands change. Sadness invites you to release what no longer serves you. The problem arises when you judge these feelings as good or bad, because the moment you label them, you stop learning from them. Instead of flowing through you, they become stuck, creating emotional blockages that weigh down your energy. Transformation begins when you stop resisting your emotions and start honoring them. When you allow yourself to feel without judgment, energy begins to move again, and that movement becomes creation. Creation doesn't always mean art, music, or invention. It can mean anything that brings new energy into the world. It can be the way you speak, the way you solve problems, the way you lead, or even the way you love. Every time you take an emotion and express it consciously, you transform it. When you channel pain into purpose, it becomes strength. When you transform fear into curiosity, it becomes courage. When you turn loneliness into reflection, it becomes wisdom. Creation is the alchemy of emotion. It is taking what once weighed you down and shaping it into something that lifts you higher. It is how the soul heals itself and how destiny begins to unfold. The people who leave the deepest marks on this world are not the ones who never suffered, but the ones who turned their suffering into something meaningful. This transformation requires awareness. You must be willing to pause and ask yourself what each emotion is trying to teach you. Instead of reacting impulsively, you learn to channel consciously. For example, when anger arises, most people explode or suppress it. But if you sit with it and understand its source, you can redirect that fire into action, into expression, into creativity. Many great works of art, movements of change, and breakthroughs in innovation were born from emotional energy that refused to stay silent. Emotions, when transformed, become the most powerful creative force available to you. The key is to move from reaction to creation, from unconscious expression to intentional transformation. That shift changes everything. It turns emotional chaos into clarity and pain into power. Every person carries within them a reservoir of untapped emotional energy. The reason so many feel uninspired or disconnected is not because they lack creativity, but because their emotional energy is blocked. They've numbed themselves to avoid pain, but in doing so, they've also numbed their passion. You cannot selectively suppress emotion. When you close yourself off to pain, you close yourself off to joy as well. To create, you must feel deeply. You must be willing to enter the depths of your heart, to touch the places you've avoided, and to bring light to them. The deeper you feel, the more authentic your expression becomes. True creation is born from honesty, the courage to translate your inner world into something visible and alive. Transformation through emotion is not just a mental process, it's energetic. Each time you transform a feeling into creation, you raise your vibration. You move from the lower frequencies of fear, guilt, and anger into higher frequencies of love, compassion, and inspiration. This shift doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you attract. Life begins to mirror your new energy. Opportunities, people, and experiences that match your elevated frequency start to appear effortlessly. The world outside begins to reflect the beauty that's been awakened inside. That is how destiny is rewritten, not by fighting the past, but by using its emotional energy to build the future. When you learn to channel your feelings into creation, you stop being a victim of your emotions and become the master of your reality.